I'm the new improved you.
Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Go to Bowl fam, it's the director. I got a question for y'all. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. The Chargers jumping into week 2, both feet first, find themselves even more momentum after taking down the Carolina Panthers, who unfortunately are benching their starting quarterback after this week, man. Kind of crazy to think of that whole narrative, that whole story arc of Bryce Young and everything that happened between that trade. Unbelievable stuff. But the Chargers in their situation, they did what they had to do, man. Our hands were tied. We had to crush the Panthers because it's not just enough to win. It's the way you win in these situations with a struggling team that counts. And I think the Chargers did a very good job at winning the right way this week to help them out in terms of gaining momentum and gaining confidence and gaining understanding of the new system and scheme as they head into tougher matchups starting next week versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That should be a pretty fun one right there, man. But this game riddled with feel-goods, with good narratives, with things that the Chargers can build on and lean on in terms of new strengths and understandings of the roster. Very exciting one to break down with you guys today, man. Should be a lot of fun. Before we do kick things off, shout out to the sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use code DIRECTOR to receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Newcomers, take a look at these free picks here, man. It got the free pick for CeeDee Lamb. I think that's for everybody. The newcomers grab this. Aaron Rodgers, yes, you can get both on here. And again, pay attention to all of the specials and stuff on Underdog, man. That is how you win at Underdog Fantasy. Me, myself, and I had a really good week last week, following a lot of those tokens as they were dropped. Before we do kick off, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, bell notification, help me out a lot. Let's get into it. Lights, camera, action.
Who's got it better than us?
Your Chargers at Panthers post-game report. We went over a lot of this in my Bleacher Report reaction video. We're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it this time, though, man, because honestly, there is a lot to unpack from this game that ended up being pretty important, okay? The feel-good narratives are there, like we saw with the Justin Herbert, Quentin Johnson. Man, does that hit you in the feel-goods, doesn't it? So cool to see that finally start to unfold with him. But as well as, again, I'm going to reiterate this because it is actually so important, at least to me, in my lowly director opinion, okay? The Chargers are forming themselves into a serious contender right before our eyes. And there's going to be a lot of people that say it's too early to tell, right? We're just into week 2. Everybody pump the brakes. There's going to be people telling you to pump the brakes all until week 17, right, guys? But in my opinion, the Chargers are starting to form the building blocks of a serious contender. I think this is definitely shaping up to be a playoff sort of caliber team. And it starts with obviously taking down your division rival in week 1 with the Raiders, which sneakily, guys, watching the Raiders go out there and take down the Baltimore Ravens, the Raiders might have something, I'll say more specifically on defense this year. And that's something to kind of, throw into the bag of goodies for the Chargers. I mean, all things considered, the Raiders actually might not be as bad as they have been in years past. And having the Chargers take them down so handedly is a really, really good sign. Then you have matchups like this one. Carolina Panthers. They're the new Browns. You guys saw that opening a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago. It really does feel like the bottom of the league right now exists in the basement with the Carolina Panthers, maybe a couple more teams, but I don't know if any team has it worse than the Panthers right now, man. It's really bad. Now, again, matchups like this, it is still important. It's not just enough to go into Carolina and grab a win. A lot of people saying I was too confident in this one. I'm sorry, guys. And what I saw with the Panthers week 1 and with how they ended their season last year, yeah, I was pretty overly confident. But it was more so because I wanted to push the narrative of it's not just enough to win this game. We've got to stomp the lights out of the Carolina Panthers. We've got to devour their souls. We've got to crush them into oblivion. And we did just that. And again, I hate seeing this in terms of narratives for real people in real situations, but we beat them down so bad that their starting quarterback ended up getting benched. And that is, again, it just reflects to how good the Chargers handled the situation. Okay, it's not enough just to win. You've got to crush these lower opponents, because that does reflect very well on your capabilities as a team and how well you are managed. In the past, tell me if I'm wrong here, Chargers fans, in the past, if the Chargers were still under head coach Brandon Staley, would we have handled this game in a similar manner? Or would we have gone into the fourth quarter still with the heart attacks, up by maybe only a score, having you squandered a three possession lead? Would it have come down to the wire? Sure, the Chargers maybe still win that game, but I think it would have been much different. I think it would have been closer. I think it would have been more mishandled by the coaching staff, and I don't think we would have been quite as much in the driver's seat as we were with Jim Harbaugh. That's why matchups like these are important. I think I'm doing a terrible job at explaining it, but I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here. It's not enough to win these games. You have to be in the driver's seat. You have to be in control, and you have to crush them into little tiny particles by the end of it to show that you really are that higher caliber of football team. You see it all the time with teams like recently the Ravens. I don't know what's going on with them right now. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Eagles, right? These are teams that don't just win versus lowly opponents. They crush them. And that's what the Chargers did on Sunday. Really, really good signs here. Now, let's go ahead and into the first topic. Again, spoiler alert, we got the man's photo on screen for the last 20 minutes. It's J.K. Dobbins, right? There's a couple of things that happened this game that are pretty important to note. For one, J.K. Dobbins logged his second of the year in week 2 game over 130 rushing yards. That's absolutely absurd. Matter of fact, this is the first time that the Chargers have seen a rusher go for over 130 yards in back-to-back games since LaDainian Tomlinson, that man whose jersey sits behind me in every single video. That's the last great to do it. Now, of course, we're comparing J.K. Dobbins to one of the best running backs of all time. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves there, but that is a cold, hard fact. The Chargers have not been this dominant of a run team in the first 2 weeks since all the way back when. And that is notable. We have not won back-to-back games, gone 2-0 to start the season since all the way in 2012. Guys, this is the signs, the real signs of real change under new, real leadership, Jim Harbaugh and company. Because the coordinators and the front office and all these guys, they deserve their flowers this week too, dude. Joe Ortiz has done some amazing signings that have gone under the radar and made big impacts so far. The coordinators, say what you want about Greg Roman, but his offense has been awesome in terms of the run game. Jesse Minter has been a superstar in this league in his first 2 weeks. It's awesome to see this all come together. And J.K. Dobbins right now is kind of at the top of the headlines for good reason, right? If you guys pick this man up in fantasy football, I myself and I am a Chargers fan, so of course I had him and Gus Edwards at the tail end of my draft. You are a very happy camper right now. I just lost Christian McCaffrey in my league. Definitely a huge bummer. But behind him and Jordan Mason and these guys, we are still on top, baby. J.K. Dobbins is for real. And as long as he can stay on the field, and I've said this so many times throughout the offseason, as long as he can stay on the field, this is a top 10 running back in the NFL. Right now, statistically, he's like top 5, I think. I think he may be the 4th leading rusher in the NFL right now, which is absolutely absurd. He is, by a very, very long mile, the best running back in the league in terms of yards per carry. I think his is... It's somewhere ridiculous. Okay, I don't remember the exact number, but it's absolutely ludicrous. It might even be 16. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section. Just update us in there. Okay. He is by far and away one of the most efficient running backs in the league. He's budding into a superstar. And guess what, folks? He's only 25 years old. This man may get a new contract before midseason with the Chargers if he can stay on the field, dude. I'm so excited. The age of J.K. Dobbins is here. And let's not forget the Robin to his Batman. If you told me the top of the year, it would have been reversed, right? But Gus Edwards, hey, number 4. We appreciate the work you're doing out there, man. It's going to go, unnoticed, under the radar a little bit, but he's softening up that line. You know what I mean? He's out there applying the pressure. It's making him nice and squishy and giving space to guys like J.K. Dobbins to make these big plays. Gus Edwards is doing a lot of the heavy lift in there because he's still got around the same amount of carries as J.K. Dobbins. His were just straight up the middle, punching him in the mouth, getting him nice and soft for J.K. Dobbins to make the big plays. They make a really nice combo. So sincerely, from me to yours to the organization in Baltimore, thank you for this 1-2 punch. A little lightning, a little thunder, but bam! J.K. Dobbins is off to a really good start, and of course, the Robin to the Batman, Gus Edwards, is another big part of that too. Hopefully everything stays good, man. The Ben Herbert effect is in full effect right now. It's in full swing. These guys are looking good. Everyone's a little tougher to break. It's been awesome to watch, man. Congratulations, J.K. Dobbins, etching his name among the greats in the league in Week 2. Speaking of which, this next segment called QJ's Redemption Tour. You guys see what I see? You guys see what I see? Sorry, we're zooming into the wrong aspect over here. It's not my fault. It was actually the computer, I promise. I see hands! I see hands! That is hands of Quentin Johnston bringing in a couple of touchdown catches this week, dude. How awesome is that? The narratives behind Quentin Johnston and the would-be, could-be, should-be in his rookie season certainly left a bad taste in everybody's mouths. I would say it was a big hit to his confidence, too. You have to imagine, man, coming in, he's been asked to be Mike Williams. He's getting all kinds of targets, and the pressure's on, and he's trying to bring in these 50-50 balls all the time, which, by the way, he did amazing versus the defender here. I think that's J.C. Horn right there, man. I think that's one of the premium corners in the league. Because say what you will about the Carolina Panthers, but they have a pretty solid secondary. No lie. You guys want to look it up? You want to fact check? Sure. But I was pretty certain when I was looking into this game, I was like, hey, man, if there's one thing that the Carolina Panthers possess, it's not a bad secondary. And Quentin Johnston beat their best one for at least this touchdown, right? I don't remember who he beat for the second one. It was just a crosser right in the back of the end zone. It was just a nice design. The second touchdown, they sent the tight end down there to pull down the guy in the flat, and it just left Quentin Johnston wide open in the corner of the end zone. It was beautiful. In this touchdown, however, yes, it was a long bomb. We call them H-bombs around here. Long pass by Justin Herbert. Put it in a beautiful spot. Yes, Quentin Johnston had to make a play on it. He had to extend his body a little bit and bring it in with his hands. And he did everything. He checked every single box. And he did a beautiful job there. Quentin Johnston finally being utilized the way he was at TCU. You know what's crazy? You go back on even my channel, anybody's channel really that covers the Chargers, and you look at what people were excited about when they were talking about Quentin Johnston coming out of TCU, first-round pick, the kind of plays that he was making out there. All of a sudden, you're seeing it kind of happen. Right? In his rookie season, you saw almost nothing, right? It was very, very rare that you saw the kind of play that he had at TCU translate to the NFL. This year, it's translating. The Chargers are getting the ball to him in space. They're finding ways to get him open. And quite honestly, once you get the ball to Quentin Johnston, he's making stuff happen, man. His yards after the catchability is kind of awesome. And he's flexing, and it's working. And quite weirdly enough, right now, today, if you were to ask the Chargers, or I should say, Chargers fans or spectators of the team, who's wide receiver one, it's probably Quentin Johnston, who to start the season was speculated to be the Chargers wide receiver 4. Congratulations to QJ, man. He is having a stellar start to the year. Stellar start. Next up. Someone that is getting their share of criticism right now, which is very fair to say. Okay, Justin Herbert is off to a bit of a rocky start. This segment called Herbert's Growing Pains. And the reason that I called it Growing Pains is because it's exactly just that. Okay, it's growing pains. This is something that, of course, not a lot of Chargers fans had to deal with at the beginning of Justin Herbert's career. He jumped in, both feet first in his rookie season, an injured Tyrod Taylor, and he took the league by storm, giving us the best rookie season by a quarterback in NFL history, which still stands today. He deserves the benefit of the doubt from us as Chargers fans. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, to start this off, Justin Herbert deserves our patience as a fan base. Because like I said last week, and again, we're hoping to see him come out the other end from this, okay? But he hadn't played a game since week 9 of last season. There was injuries everywhere. Brand new offense once again that doesn't quite feature what he does in terms of his what they've been asking him to do the last 4 or 5 years, right? It's a new era. It's a new environment. It's a new offense. New. And it feels like Herbert is playing a little catch up here. Something I said in my Bleacher Report video, something I've said, I think even in my last video. Herbert doesn't have to be Superman anymore. Okay? Justin Herbert has help all of a sudden. And there's going to be a game, and I promise you, I don't know when it's coming. To me, in my gut, it feels like it's going to be in a big game. Like, it may not be next week for the Steelers. It might end up being with the Kansas City Chiefs, where it kind of clicks for Justin Herbert. Hey, man, I have a defense. I have a really good defense. It's okay to throw it away sometimes. It's okay. Let's take off on the ground if we have to, which, by the way, we'll cover in a second. He's starting to move with his feet a little bit. It's okay to audible to a run every once in a while. We have the players. We have the offensive line. I think at some point very soon, it is going to click in Justin Herbert's head what this team is. And again, he's a smart guy. I'm sure he understands everything way, like, multiplied by 1,000 of what I'm talking about, right? I'm just some schmuck on YouTube. But I think instinctually, for Justin Herbert, it is going to fit into place like a puzzle piece at some point, maybe in the middle of a game, when the lights are on and the pressure is really there and it's time to put up or shut up. I think Justin Herbert is going to have that aha moment. Eureka. He's going to start playing to the strengths of this team and not to the demands of his personal talent, because that was the Chargers of the past. Hey, we have ourselves a top 5 quarterback. We're going to throw all kinds of pressure on him to make the big plays, all kinds of workload on his shoulders to carry the offense, because that's what we're paying him to do, which, of course, yeah, you can still say that, partially is his responsibility. He's making a lot of money with this team. But that's not what this group of people composed of 53 individuals, right? That's not what they're built to do anymore. What that group of people are built to do is support and uplift number 10. He's got help, and I think at some point it's going to click. No more of these, because this is what I saw in this game. Some poor decision. I didn't like the vision so much. Forcing, passes, trying to play Superman. Of course, there were some really cool highlights. Justin Herbert falling over, doing a Patrick Mahomes kind of, flip pass, trying to make something happen. Really cool stuff, but ultimately not the right call in this new offense. This new offense, you don't have to do that. They'll help you. I know this drive, we want to keep it alive. We want to keep going. Trust your defense. You haven't been able to do that in your career, I don't think, right? In Justin Herbert's career, he has not had the confidence of, hey, if I don't make the score here, if I don't play Superman here, we are going to lose because the defense is going to let up another touchdown. That's been his reality. Not anymore. Jesse Minter has an amazing defense that's going to help carry Justin Herbert to the promised land. It's okay. They're here to help. You're not alone anymore. And it'll start happening soon. I would say the Guardians in that department too, we'll lightly touch on. Yes, J.K. Dobbins is going to help. We got a run game. But look at all this support out here, man. More specifically, Rashawn Slater on the left side. Man, did Slater have a day, dude. You see some days where, like, Joe Alt is going crazy. I think the first game was, like, the Joe Alt game. This game, I saw 70 out there, man. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. There's lane after lane for J.K. Dobbins. Time after time, protection for Justin Herbert. Joe Alt had an amazing game, too. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of plays where I was like, man, you see him, navigate the edge guy kind of in that loop. You know what I mean? Like, amazing stuff by the offensive line. I will say Rashawn Slater had a crazy good day, in my opinion, just from what I was watching, spectating there. The offensive line, they look so good. Again, everything is advertised at the top of the offseason. We got Jim Harbaugh. Things are changing. They're the tip of the spear, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Now we're actually watching it happen, and it's awesome. I don't know if in my time as a Chargers fan, I'll say this pretty firmly in my time as a Chargers fan, I've never looked at the offensive line and been like, whoo, like, the meme, coming out of the bushes, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever been that enthusiastic about watching my offensive line play as a Chargers fan. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's a new aspect of watching football that I'm starting to really appreciate. And in high school, I played a little offensive line. You know what I mean? It's always been the nitty-gritty, the thankless, position. But, like, when you have a really good one in the NFL, it's almost impossible not to notice it now. And it's cool. It's fun. I like it, man. You're seeing superstars born behind the unsung heroes of the offensive line, like J.K. Dobbins. Man, it's awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Let's move on over to the defense. Speaking of crazy mad scientist success, man, look at this. We'll zoom in one more time. Look, I want to give accolades to Ben Herbert on the side there too. Look at this madman Jesse Minter go, dude. Oh, every week that we have like an amazing defensive performance, I'm hyped, obviously, but I'm also a little anxious. I'm like, dude, someone's going to try and scoop him at the end of the year. Someone's going to try and grab him as a head coach next season. His defense and the way that he's flipped this team from horrible to insanely good, it's too noticeable. Someone's going to be like, hey, man, he's coming home. You know what I mean? Like, someone's going to try and snipe him from us, man. He's too good. And it's easy to overlook it sometimes, right? We have Jim Harbaugh on the squad. We got Justin Herbert. Like, these are the faces. But honestly, Jesse Minter has to be one of the superstars of a successful season so far for the Chargers. The defense has been unbelievable. And what's crazy is that, like, there's a lot of guys from previous years that are making this happen. Bosa is reborn. We got Mack and these guys still from previous years. Derwin James. We got Denzel Perryman, the best symbolic representation of just that. Alohi and all these guys. Like, it really feels like a lot of the star power from previous seasons are finally flourishing under proper leadership and coaching. Jesse Minter's a crazy person. His defense, I don't know, again, we kind of went over what his defense conceptually sort of looks like and how they execute it. In a way, it's complex, but really easy for the players to pick up, right? And it's working beautifully. The kind of pressure I saw on Sunday was awesome. You saw it multiple times where the Chargers are just lining up, 6 guys we're going to send the house. The DBs are all playing, perfect coverage despite not a lot of help via the safeties or whatever. Like, the Chargers are getting home. They're forcing bad decision by the quarterbacks. It's been awesome. It's been amazing to witness. And Jesse Minter is kind of at the core of it all. He's for real, man. I know it's week 2, and we've gone up against 2 less than stellar quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, who's now benched. But I got to tell you, man, just like I said at the top of the video, it's not just enough to win, it's how you win. Jesse Minter's defense, it's not just enough to be good, it's how you are good. And he is dominating the competition right now. I don't think there's been a score differential bigger than the Chargers so far in the season in terms of allowed points. I think Chargers only allowing 3 points is probably the best so far. And even though against the Panthers, it's, the Panthers, the Saints still allowed like 10 points or whatever. Jesse Minter is for real. This is going to be an awesome defense to watch all season. And again, just like the offensive line where all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's kind of fun watching those guys operate. The defense, you can definitely say the same thing for, man. When we have to punt the ball away, like, again, in years past, it was like, oh, man, here we go. They're about to score. Justin's going to have to play Superman again. No! Now we punt the ball away or whatever. We kick things off, and I'm excited to see what the defense does, man, because it feels like every other drive they're doing something crazy. There's turnovers, there's sacks, there's stoppage on 4th and 3rd down or whatever. Like 3rd and 2 has become a big thing. I get excited to see because the Chargers are so good at stopping those short yardage situations. What the heck is happening? Jesse Minter's happening, man. It's a good year. It's a good year to be a Chargers fan that likes watching a bit of defense. Speaking of which, I want to give, Jim Harbaugh, a game ball, how do you do, slap on the back to Elijah Molden, and also kind of tip my hat to Joe Ortiz, man. What a foresight he has for what this team needs in terms of team composition, dude. Like, what the heck? The roster build has been so impressive. Elijah Molden, who's only been with the team, a couple weeks? Just logged his first interception with the squad. And he was everywhere. I should have written down the stats here, but he logged a respectable number of tackles. He was out there really making an impact. And this dude has only been here a few weeks, man. It's crazy. Joe Ortiz, man, the impact signings that he's made at a low cost. I mean, of course, J.K. Dobbins may end up being the biggest value in the NFL by the end of the year. But to the left, you got Christian Fulton. I mean, yeah, a lot of Titans. Christian Fulton, who we rescued from a fizzling out career. Elijah Molden has been an insanely good fit. Right? I don't know, man. It's been awesome to watch. Congratulations to Elijah Molden, and congratulations to Joe Ortiz. A very, very good offseason. DB domination. Oh, yeah, yes. This is an important aspect of the week because I feel like the pass rush, which again, it's this big thing that the team, they threw down for. They found 4 really crazy good guys. This is the identity of the defense. They're going to be awesome. The pressure was there this week, and it was very consistent. Yes, I will say so. But only logging 1 sack. I will say it was a much bigger day last week versus the Raiders than it was this week via the pressure, which is fine, right? We were still there. We logged the sack. There was a constant pressure from all the guys, right? I still think it was a success. But the DBs, man, they stepped up. And they took advantage of opportunities. Yes, some of them given by the edge position guys and the pressure that was being generated, up front. But when the pressure wasn't as aggressive, when the pressure wasn't as overwhelming, the DBs stepped up. You know what I mean? So no matter what, you're getting some crazy play. There's always going to be guys picking each other up, positions picking each other up. This week it was the DBs, man. Christian Fulton played out of his mind. Yeah, we're going up against Bryce Young. I get it. Okay, not the best quarterback in the world. But we shut him down. I wish I had the stat in front of me again. Poor me. Bad director. Bad. But he almost got nothing this week. There was nothing there. There was nothing available. The coverage was insane. Jasir Taylor was awesome. He's turning to be one of the better nickel backs you're going to find in the league. Christian Fulton had a day. Asante had a day. Of course, we saw Elijah. You had Derwin James had a day. Like, the defensive back play has been absurd. And this is a position I was so worried about at the top of the year. Congratulations to these guys, man. Like, stellar play. And speaking of a position that I wasn't quite convinced of at the top of the year, linebacker. Dayan Henley is emerging as to one of the more impressive linebackers in the league. He looks amazing out there in coverage versus the run. Him and Denzel Perryman are destroying people out there. Denzel has looked like he's complete. He got in a DeLorean. He went back in time. We're not playing right now with Denzel Perryman back from like 2016. Like this is from last season. We're playing with Denzel Perryman back from 2016 or so. He's turned back the clock. This is a young guy all of a sudden. He's out here in coverage. He's out here versus the run. Denzel Perryman is amazing all of a sudden. He really has bounced back. But Dayan Henley really is coming into his own as well, man. Like, this is an awesome duo. They're great. And when Junior Colston is out there as well, like, it just feels like the linebacking core is just so good. I was very impressed, man. This defense is absurd. Help close this video out, man. Like I mentioned at the top, we are seeing the foundations of greatness being laid down. I think it was, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm so bad at remembering giving proper credit everywhere. Was it Colin Coward? I think so. I don't remember. They were talking about we are seeing the signs of championship caliber teams emerge from the Chargers. These are the things that the champions do. These are just things that Super Bowl champions do. The run game is great. It's solid. It's dominant. The defense is top 5 in the NFL. I don't remember the last time a non-dominant defense won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs last year, you would say, they're at the top of the season, all their defense is going to hold them back. No, they ended up being one of the best defenses in football, and they won another Super Bowl behind it. The coaching is insane. We all of a sudden, honestly, guys, we are seeing the foundations of what a famous Andy Reid to Patrick Mahomes looks like, a John Harbaugh to Lamar Jackson. Get ready to etch in the name Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Like, it's going to be significant. These are the things, and again, we're so early in the process, which is so exciting. We're seeing results like this so early in the process. It's going to get better. Year 1 is looking really good. Imagine, man, when we're looking at year 2, let's say we got a Colson Loveland in there. Let's say a Donovan Edwards. We got another running back to complement. Even let's say JK gets the extension. You know what I mean? We got more pieces that's being handpicked by Jim Harbaugh. It just, and the way that they're rolling out with the rookies has been so impressive too. I mean, it's the very beginnings is what we're witnessing right now. And so far, so freaking good. And we're just ramping up because it's not just about the future. It's also about the now. This season, the Chargers look awesome. We are ramping up. I've used the analogy of what the Chargers are in a single game to what they're going to become throughout the season. It's taken a little bit of time to ramp up. There's a lot of new things to grasp as a player, as a team, as a culture. And like in a game, the Chargers, it seems like it's a bit of a slow start in the first and second quarter, but we're not a first quarter or first half team anymore. We are a second half team all of a sudden. We are going to continue to ramp up. And unlike Chargers of years past, we're not going to be limping into the postseason. We're going to be at double or triple the strengths. We're going to reach levels of over 9,000. While the other teams are all licking their wounds, the Chargers will only get stronger. We are ramping up, man. That's how a Jim Harbaugh team works too, dude. Like, you're going to start noticing the team come to grips with what the offense is. And Justin Herbert's going to get more comfortable in the new environment, and things are going to start smoothing out, and the success rate's just going to get better and better and better. I'm very excited, man. There's going to be some bumps in the road, right? Next week and the week after is going to be tough. The Steelers and of course the Chiefs in week 4. But so far, so good, man. This is better than what I had expected the Chargers to start out as. It really is. And it makes me super excited for the days and the weeks to come. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you like what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. Remember, Bolt fan, this is just the beginning.